This fragrance for me has to be considered one of the best fragrances for a gentleman. Of course, anyone can wear this fragrance, but Parfums de Nicolai's New York Intense really suits that type of person for me. If you want to hear my thoughts on what I think is a fantastic fragrance, stay tuned for the review. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Raj here. I hope all of you out there are doing well. It's been a long time since I've put my face in front of the camera, so it is kind of weird getting back into the routine, but good at the same time. I recently did a fragrance collection video, which was just my last one, so check it out if you haven't done so already. Okay guys, so just before I get into the review of this fragrance, I wanted to let you know about an opportunity for you to make a contribution to a charity, Cancer Research UK, and also to myself. So what I've done is that I've set up a Buy Me a Coffee page. You guys have probably heard about this website. You can make a small contribution as little as £3, and 20% of those proceeds will go to this charity, which is a really worthwhile cause. You know, if you like the type of content I've been putting out over the years and you've liked watching all the videos, there are hundreds of videos that I've been that are out there. Yeah, any contribution would be appreciated. The link is down below. Okay, so New York Intense came out in 2014. The original came out in 1989. I have tried the original. It's been a few years, to be honest, since I had a sample. So honestly, like, it's not really coming to my mind what the differences are. It very much smells like the original, but I can't pinpoint exactly what the differences are. So if you know of the differences between the original New York and New York Intense, drop a comment down below, and so other people can find out. Okay, so the fragrance comes in this pretty nice box for the 30 mls. The fragrance sits inside quite snugly, and I really like the fact that Nicolai does these 30 mls. Great for, you know, just dipping your toe in the water if you're not too sure about the fragrance or the brand, and also really great for traveling. So the notes for New York Intense, in the top notes there is petitgrain, bergamot, lemon, thyme, and artemisia. In the heart notes there is black pepper, clove, cinnamon, lavender, and chamomile. And going into the base notes of this fragrance, there's oak moss, vanilla, styrax, incense, musk, civet, and castoreum. I've also seen on the Nicolai website patchouli mentioned as well. And yeah, I think there is a little bit of that definitely in this fragrance. So let's talk about performance. So performance on me is really all day, but it's not a fragrance that is screaming off my skin or very noticeable for the entire duration of the fragrance. It is in the opening hour and a half, but it does become a little bit more closer to the skin. I wouldn't say it's a skin scent, it's noticeable. You will definitely pick it up, or I definitely did, and others will pick it up around you. But as I said, you know, this is a scent for me perfect for like a refined gentleman. I think this is more suited in like business scenarios, formal scenarios, where maybe you don't really want to be like the like filling the room with your fragrance. You know guys, when us reviewers say it's suitable for this person, this scenario, you don't have to take it literally. Some of you may already know that. If it feels comfortable to wear in a certain scenario, or whatever your gender is, you do whatever you do. But I think there are certain places, certain people that I think of whenever I try fragrances, and that's what I think of with this fragrance. Okay, so going into the seasons, I think autumn is a great time to wear this. Springtime also, mainly when the weather is a little bit cooler and also cold as well. But to be honest, I think you could definitely wear this in warmer weather. I have before, and it never becomes too loud. It never becomes overbearing. But I think summer nights is really a perfect time when there's a little bit of humidity in the air. Actually, this fragrance works quite well. So in the opening of this fragrance, there is a lot of sharpness and a lot going on, and it is a little bit jumbled, if I'm honest. In my experience, a lot of really good fragrances often it's the case that they take like an hour or so to really settle on the skin and start showing you what it's all about. And that's pretty much the case with New York Intense. The opening is like similar to Guerlain's Heritage or Heritage, that very bracing shock to the system almost. The citruses are very, very sharp, and the earthiness and the greenness comes across as quite smoky, quite dense, and actually is not something I like to smell too close up, especially in the opening. As the fragrance does develop, and it does, pretty soon, that will disappear, and what you're left with is, in terms of colors, I'm thinking dark greens, I'm thinking browns, I'm thinking yellows. It comes through the kind of patchouli, the earthiness, the smoky woods come through, and you really start to get the true essence of what New York Intense is all about. It's a little bit also resinous. There is some sweet ambery qualities in there. The citrus remains and starting to become a little bit more watery on my skin. It is a really, really nice evolution. And even though the opening is a bit of a blast, I still enjoy parts of it, but I really enjoy this fragrance when you get into that 4, 5, 6 hour mark, and it becomes a little bit more muskier in the dry down. Very classy, very refined fragrance. This is the kind of fragrance that you want to wear in that elevated environment. I think maybe you're going to a formal dinner, that kind of environment, or maybe you want to give off a vibe of being professional, or to be honest, maybe you don't even need to give off that vibe. You are that person, and a person who would wear this fragrance for me is somebody who's very self-assured, knows what they like in life, and wears a lot of this fragrance, I think. These are the things that come to mind. Everyone's interpretation of what a fragrance is all about will be very, very different, but this is why I think that this is one of the best fragrances for a gentleman. As the fragrance settles, I get an almost waxy green quality on my skin. I think at this stage it is, there's not a huge amount going on. You're left with this dryness, this earthy patchouli vibe in there. I would say that the sort of main note in the dry down actually is the oak moss, and you get that, you can almost feel it in your fingers, the texture, that greenness, that mossiness, the earth, the wetness, it's like damp feeling of walking through like a forest, or walking through the woods and it's just rained. That kind of feeling, that's what I get with this fragrance. It is a fragrance that I think is actually really versatile. So I said formal occasions, going into the office, boardroom, but actually I find myself wearing this fragrance in a lot of different occasions. Casually, I do wear this one to work a lot, even though I'm working right here at home. But when I was in the office, I was wearing this one a lot. But also, to going to the bar, it works great. Just lounging around at home, I really find this fragrance to be quite calming in some ways, actually. It feels very refined, very well put together, and if I could put it in sartorial terms, this fragrance is a modest suit, not too many flashy accessories, a simple pocket square, black shoes, very polished. This is something I've said before in other fragrances that I've spoken about, and that is the image that comes to mind. This is not somebody with a big watch, flamboyant pocket square. This fragrance has no flair. It is I find quite British in the sense of being actually quite reserved, and I like that about the fragrance. It's maybe one of the reasons that I'm quite drawn to it. And you know what? Just thinking now of any other thoughts. Sometimes I forgot to, I'm glad I remembered this. There's something in this fragrance that reminds me of Eau Sauvage Parfum, and also just Eau Sauvage in general, with that kind of bergamot crispness, and in the Eau Sauvage Parfum version, you've got the more sort of resinous elements coming through. I definitely think there is a similarity in terms of style. I mentioned Guerlain's Heritage, it is also in that vein. Creed's Bois de Portugal is also, in that sort of family, and they're all great fragrances. This one has to be rated highly for me. This fragrance gets a 9 out of 10. It is definitely worth checking out. Guys, I'd love to hear what you have to think about this fragrance. Do you agree with what I say, or do you completely disagree? Whatever you have to say it, drop a comment down below. And if you like this type of content that I put out, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It really helps out the channel, and it will be good to have you on board. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.